Welcome to Tech Throwback, and today it's the day after Black Friday, which means it's time for me to report in with the State of the Vintage Technology Union. And that is exactly, well, kind of what we have here today. I spent $500 at 3 different pawn shops, and this is what we came back with. And we're starting off strong with this Sony Video 8 player recorder. This is the EV-A80, and it plays, you guessed it, Video 8 tapes. So it was actually a pretty crazy find. I was just walking by looking for more modern technology, and this was sitting on the shelf for $20, and I had to have it. I'm just gonna give you a quick overview of it. I'll make a full video on this down the road, but I did wanna show you guys around real quick. It's about the size of a VCR. It has this cool tape loading and eject mechanism right there. We've got electronic digital controls right there, a little VFD display, and a whole bunch of cool controls hiding under that cover right there. It's got a composite output, a single channel audio output. You can change the RF channel that it outputs on from 3 to 4, and a VHF, UHF in and out, so pass through, plus the modulated signal to your TV. And also an unswitched AC outlet on the back. We'll dive into this in a later video and actually figure out if it works, try it out. There's a tape in there. I can't wait to actually dig into it. It even came with the remote. What a cool little piece. So this was a bit of an unexpected find, and one that I'm very excited about. I actually was looking for 2000s tech and video games on Black Friday, not cool old Sony Video 8 stuff. So speaking of Sony, this is from the day before Black Friday, and I don't know if it's an excellent deal, but it was under $100 for a PSP Go. That is completely working. This is the PSP N1001. You can see PlayStation Portable Go, and it fired right up. It came with its charger, and it was actually full of games. So, you know, I think it was a pretty good deal. 100 bucks for a PSP that's ready to rock. And I have already thrown some custom firmware on that and loaded Need for Speed, Underground Rivals, and Grand Theft Auto on there. So it has been a lot of fun. I've actually put a couple hours on this, which has been very cool to relive some of those old school PSP games. And it's actually nice to be able to plug this in via USB and quickly upload ROMs to it. Don't worry, I did add this into the total price of $500. On Black Friday, I ended up buying a Milwaukee fish tape. If you know me, I pull a lot of wire, and that Milwaukee fish tape was brand new, and it was the same price as this. So I pulled the fish tape out of that pile, swapped it in for this. Everything adds up at the end of the day. So PSP Go, very cool, and some of Sony's awesome legacy making really cool products. And speaking of Sony, we aren't done yet. We've got another one here. A pretty cool little hitter, an OG PS1. Not the square PS1, but the much smaller rounded corner one. I think it might have been mod chipped, because when I looked at it in the store, and when you guys are looking at it right now, you can see the warranty has been voided. And why else would you void the warranty on your PlayStation? I mean, maybe it broke, but there's a good chance that somebody threw a mod chip in it, or it's got some unlimited games mod. I actually haven't plugged this in to test it yet. They were asking $59, and then it was 25% off. So I think I paid about $40 out the door, and it came with a perfect PS1 branded controller there, the ones that have the later PS1 logo on them, the AV cord, and the power adapters in this stack somewhere. So that is our Sony haul for Black Friday, one that I'm very excited about. If you take a look at the pile so far, I don't think that's a bad deal for 160 bucks. And since I was buying a console, they threw in some free games. Can't beat free games with your console. Hey, there we go. There's the original Sony PS1 adapter. That's a PS2 adapter. It says right on it, PlayStation 2. But they must be, maybe this is from the Slim, and they're the exact same output. So 7.5 volt DC in. This is 8.5 volt DC out. I bet it works, but I also think it's probably pretty stupid to do that. That's what they gave me, and I didn't catch it in the store. That was my bad. Since I bought that PS1, I wanted to go home and actually try it out. So I bought some games, and honestly, I think all of these games, if you're looking at these stickers on here, you're seeing $12.95, $4.95, $4.95, $4.95, $4.95, $4.95, $3.95. Very, very cheap games. Only one of these was expensive. It looks like Need for Speed 2 was $13. They just almost gave me all of these. These came from the next pawn shop where we bought a bunch more stuff. But they had this epic racing selection, so I bought all racing games. Let's talk about them. Need for Speed 2 by Electronic Arts, It's got a bunch of cool cars in it, F1, F50, Lotus GT1, Jag XJ220, all the dream cars from when I was a kid. So a very cool game with a lot of awesome licensed cars. The disc looks okay, the disc hub isn't torn up. This is basically the one game I actually paid for since they had it marked $12.95, and all the rest of this kind of got thrown in for free. They ended up marking these down to like $1 each. So it doesn't get any cheaper than that. They're just giving them away. But this is VMX Racing. It was $4.95, marked down to something ridiculous. For some reason, it's taped shut. Not sure why, but let's take a quick look at the disc. All right, tell me it's brand new. It looks wonderful. Wow, that is a very nice looking disc there. I don't know if this game's gonna be any fun, but I can't wait to try it out. Motocross, it's probably pretty fun. Studio E and Pi Entertainment. I've never actually heard of either of those studios, so I'm just being optimistic here. IHRA Motorsports Drag Racing, nothing but attitude. But it's from Bethesda Softworks, obviously a great game studio, and it's all dragsters, which is probably pretty fun. I'm actually down to try a drag racing game. Again, taped shut. This must be something they do at this pawn shop to prevent theft. I've never seen the games packing taped shut before. Case is okay. All these cases probably need replaced. Disc looks like it might play. They even told us they buff all these games if they don't play well. I don't think they even looked at any of these, but I get it. It's OG PlayStation, very, very old. Here we have Andretti Racing from EA Sports. Probably really fun, it's from EA. And IndyCar, stock car racing, and split screen action. So I hope this game's good. It's not taped shut, so we got something going for us there. It's rated kids to adults. The disc looks perfect. And all the books are here, you know, the cases are okay-ish. We'll probably end up recasing all of these because I love racing games. Formula 1 98 by Psygnosis, which is interesting. What a cool game studio. It's got Red Bull Racing in it, Red Bull Sour Patronus. And they taped this shut so well, it will not come out. What were they worried about with this game? Is this like the rarest game on the planet? It was marked $4. I got the case open. Let's take a look at the disc. Disc hub looks great. I actually don't think this is... It's been out, but I don't think it's ever really been played. Huh, it went through Game Exchange in Wichita, which is a very long gone game trading store. So, almost pre-GameStop. Is this one taped shut? Thank you. Thank you for not taping this one shut. NASCAR Thunder 2002. It's NASCAR licensed and it was by EA, so probably pretty good. And the disc looks brand new. The newest one yet, not a scratch on it. Motocross Mania from Take-Two Interactive. Hopefully that's good. We might have to start Tech Throwback Gaming just to see if some of these games are any good. This looks playable. It's got a lot of tiny scratches on it. Does need a new case. And Newman Haas Racing. This is an IndyCar game from Psygnosis again. And it looks like it could be sort of fun. Let's see how the disc looks. Pretty good. Playable. It's got 4 deep scratches and everything else is tiny. And it went through Game Exchange. Now, that is our Sony stack for the most part. We've got more consoles. Let's take a look at the next one. That's right, a Nintendo 3DS. They were asking $119 for this and then 25% off. So I paid about $90 for this and I had them throw in a game. And my game choice was a mistake. It looked pretty cool on the shelf. This is one of the 2 3DS games they had in stock. It was Dream Trigger 3D, which I assumed was just Chrono Trigger or Splinter Cell or really some kind of FPS game. It is not that at all. It's a game where you're like a butterfly and you collect dots of energy, but it took, I'd say 15 minutes to get through the intro that walks you through the game. After doing the intro, I didn't understand it one bit. And then, you know, you go around with your butterfly going over like energy things or star or whatever you are, and I was dead in 30 seconds, and that's the last time I'm ever gonna play that game. So I was very wrong in my assumption. I wanted one 3D game to play, and I've already given up on it. So I don't have anything 3D to play on the 3DS because I've never had one before. This is actually a 3DS XL. It's huge. Battery works great. It's in perfect condition. It had this case on it. Underneath it, there's not a scratch on the actual unit. And there's a screen protector on there. And the screen protector has a tiny little crack in it, but it's a glass screen protector that will come right off. So it traded in to the pawn shop with like 20 Pokemon games that were in box. So I do think the owner took care of it. But 3DS, pretty interesting. We'll dig into all this stuff in later episodes, but $90 for a 3DS XL, I think that's not a bad deal. That's about what a normal 3DS sells for, as far as I know. Now, I've got more consoles for you guys, but I wanted to get one game that I would actually enjoy playing, and I knew right out of the gate, this was it. Need for Speed Pro Street for DS. They had it marked $6.95, and I think I just asked him for this one as well, and he was like, you can take that too. I don't think Pro Street's worth very much, but let's look it up right now. According to price charting, it's worth $7.98 loose, and it may be as bad as $3.18. Oh, here's another one, cart only, 99 cents. So I think throwing that in was probably the right move. It was just another one I asked for because I thought I'd want to play it. And I played it for a few minutes so far, and it's been really fun. So Pro Street coming in clutch to replace really good games like Need for Speed Underground. And back to the consoles. We have the worst failure of a game console ever sold. I know I actually have much bigger failures of game consoles that are just waiting for us to make videos on. The collection of those is growing, but this is now my most hated console. I don't think I've ever hated a console more than the Wii U. The setup was insane. They wiped it. I set it up last night and I got a game for it too, a game I would actually play. It's right here, 007 Legends for Wii U. And you know, I remember the Wii U launch very, very well. I watched the keynote live, and within minutes I had a website that we were gonna make like a blog about the Wii U, assuming this thing would be a smash hit. It was playwiiu.com, and nothing. This thing tanked. And I never even owned a Wii U until yesterday. This is my first one. Hooked it up, went through the setup process. Just getting this thing through its out-of-box experience is absolutely terrible. I think it took something like 20 plus minutes to go through all the menus and exit all the little pop-up tool tips and all the stuff this does on first boot. It was a long time. And that's skipping all the Nintendo account setup. And then, you know, I did that because I assumed there'd be firmware updates. There weren't. This one was completely up to date and ready to rock, so that was something. It still took forever, and then I installed this game, which actually, Nintendo's pretty good about that. You put the game in and you can play it almost immediately, which is exactly how this game was going. And I played it for about 20-30 minutes, and so far, I can't stand it. I love the game, but this controller, the layout, the fact that the controller is so big when all you need is like a normal handheld controller, it just drives you nuts. Your hands are all held apart and you're trying to play a shooter, but with the stick layout, like movement's weird. There are so far 0 redeeming qualities for the Wii U as far as I'm concerned, but we'll make full videos about this. We'll jump into a hardware overview and check this thing out. It works great, and I was playing this game. I really wanted to spend a lot more time loving it. The game seems like they did a good job. It's Activision, right? They did a good job. The Wii U seems like it's the problem. But again, they were asking $129 for this. We hit them with some comps, and I ended up paying about $80 for this Wii U. Complete. We're not done yet, but I did see the receipt laying down there. I wanted to see how he rang it all up. He put 90 on the Wii U, 139 on the 3DS, and then he rang up everything else for 13 games for $1 each. So $13 in games. I feel like that was really reasonable because we have one Grail game in here. And it is Super Smash Bros. Melee for GameCube. I do have a GameCube. They were asking $60 for this game, and as you just saw on that receipt, he charged $1 for this game, which is incredibly rare. They were showing it to us on price charting, trying to get me to believe it was worth like $90. I think it's worth about $60. So I think it's probably worth what they had on the sticker. They were saying this was a deal. It is super, super mid. I would not call it a deal in any way. Actually, a lot of these sell for closer to like $45. But for $1, I'm not complaining one bit. Super Smash Melee, awesome game. Can't wait to hook the GameCube back up and play this because I've never actually had a copy of this. And of course, I threw in a couple other games that I felt like I might want to play, especially on a DS that's a bonus DS, not included in our total here, but they wanted $4 for Midnight Club. Obviously, I was going to buy that, another racing game. It's loose, it's not even in wonderful condition, but I'm sure it plays, and that's all that counts. It's got it where it counts. An incredible game. Obviously, GoldenEye, best game ever in history. I don't think there's any debating that, so debate me in the comments, but the old follow-up to GoldenEye, 007, The World Is Not Enough, and I think they charged me $1 for this one, even though it was marked $15.95. This one, I just looked at the other receipt as well, and they marked every video game down to $1 for me. That's how we got our deals done. I'm not upset about it. They gave me the consoles at 25% off and then sold me every game for $1, and it all works out. Lots of negotiation took place there. These were solid $1 games. NCAA Football 2003, it's marked $7, but can't beat it for $1 on PS2. And NCAA Basketball 09, marked $11. Let's take a look at these, see if the discs are okay. Ooh. She needs cleaned up. She needs cleaned up. Let's take a look at this one. Come on, Football 2003, don't let me down. This disc, the top of this disc looks better already. It's perfect. Perfect. Even has the little ghost PlayStation logos in it. So hopefully NCAA Basketball 09 plays. And that's right, and we aren't done yet. Something very, very, very cool. The incredibly rare Miracle Piano Teaching NES cartridge right there. So this lets you hook a piano up to your NES and learn piano, and it has the weird DB25, I think. I haven't counted the pins. Looks like DB25 connector to the NES controller connector there. So you hook up a controller and a piano, and you get to interactively learn to play piano. And this is copyrighted 1990, very old. I think you see these things floating around loose a lot, but you don't see them with the original cable that's very much hand-built. Very much a hand-built DB25, but just a cool piece, and maybe we can get a piano that actually works with it. It might be tough, but I'm gonna try. Super Game Boy with the book. Not with the box, but with the book, and that's something. So I've got plenty of Game Boy games. I don't have a Super NES right now. We'll have to get that sorted out, but they were asking $29 for this and $40 for this, which I think is pretty close to market. And of course, these were also $1 each with all the consoles we picked up. So that is my Black Friday haul. I think it's absolutely insane. Just take a look at the pile we have amassed of fun games that I can't wait to try out and make videos on down the road. Especially all this Sony stuff. I am a big Sony fan, so we're gonna have a lot of videos coming about consoles that failed, consoles that were winners, and honestly just really cool consoles that slide. So I would say that's all I have for you today, but it's not. During Thanksgiving, I was hunting around at my parents' house and found my sister's DS Lite. And she sold it to me for 50 bucks. And it came with a case, and this case has racks of games in it. We'll talk about them all for just a moment here, but this is obviously a working DS Lite. We were playing Super Mario Brothers, I think that's what's in it, quite a bit during Thanksgiving on it, and having a great time. And really the only reason she said I could have this, which obviously anybody watching would say, like, why wouldn't they just give you that? Well, she had just bought an old 3rd gen Apple TV from me that was for sale on Facebook for 50 bucks. So I sent her 50 bucks back. We just traded. So I traded an old Apple TV, like a 3rd gen for this. I think it was a good trade. Super Mario DS is in it. It came with the Nintendo case, and then it also came with a bunch of games and the charger. What do we have in here? Hilarious games. Games that you've probably never even seen. Nintendogs, Dalmatian and Friends, pretty funny. Madagascar 2, Escape from Africa, popular, but I don't know if anyone's played it. Nintendogs, Chihuahua and Friends. There's multiple Nintendogs? Crazy. Mario Hoops 3-on-3, that's actually probably pretty fun. I haven't played it. Pets Dog Pack, hilarious, by Ubisoft. And an unlabeled Animal Crossing Wild Worlds. I've never played that at all, but I do know Animal Crossing is popular. So, that is actually my Black Friday haul. And that DS could kind of be considered free since I just traded an old Apple TV for it. Let me know in the comments below if you found anything cool, any retro tech while you were out Black Friday hunting. I doubt you were finding any of that at the stores where the deals are just slightly cheaper TVs that were probably actually cheaper 2 weeks before Black Friday. But if you found anything cool, let me know in the comments below. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching Tech Throwback, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.